The Muslim holy month of Ramadan is just around the corner. CBC News has learned some national Muslim groups are now telling any MP who wishes to visit a mosque during that holiday period that they must first call for a ceasefire in Gaza. Rafi Boudjikanian has our CBC News exclusive. He is live with me this morning from our newsroom in Ottawa. Rafi, tell me what your reporting has revealed in these requests.
Heather, the letter really lays out 5 different requests. The public pledge for calling for a ceasefire, as you just mentioned, is among them. There are a couple of others that will likely create some debate both among and within political parties, federal Canadian political parties. One of them is, again, a public pledge to ask the government to restore funding to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, UNRWA. As you may recall, the government temporarily at least cut that funding to this aid agency pending the results of a UN investigation into allegations by Israel that some of its workers were actually part of the October 7th Hamas attack that kickstarted this whole war. Advocates of UNRWA, of course, have been arguing that those allegations are unproven, that they only concern 12 or 13 employees, and meantime, UNRWA is the aid organization that's capable of actually helping out the Palestinians who are displaced by this conflict. Another key request from the letter is that any MP who wants to visit mosques or community organizations during Ramadan has to start publicly calling for the government to stop armaments, shipping of armaments to Israel. The Canadian government, of course, has been saying that it only ships non-lethal aid to the government. Now, it is the National Council of Canadian Muslims behind this letter, though it did not really want to do any interviews, saying it wants to let grassroots organizations do the talking here. Hundreds of them have endorsed the letter. We chatted with the Canadian Council of Imams. Have a listen.
There has to be action. We're not interested in tokenism, and we're not interested in politics that are just simply empty words and false promises. Okay, we're beyond that at this point because people are dying, and it needs to change and it needs to stop.
So, Rafi, I know as part of your reporting on this, you've been speaking to pollster Sachi Kurl about the political message this sends and the impact this could have. What more detail do you have there?
Yeah, I mean, we are in a minority government setting. We're a year and change out from the next election, possibly less time than that, and so this does create a bit of tension for different political parties. And as Sachi Kurl pointed out to me, you know, this is really about one major religious or diaspora group kind of really setting the terms for what it is asking for in return for support. Have a listen to her.
This is less about, I think, a particular message to one party and more about a diaspora in this country sort of flexing their political muscle at this time and saying, don't come into our house, don't come into our community unless you're prepared to make certain commitments.
Now, again, an election could still be a year away, but Ramadan is much closer. It starts on March 10th, so I'll be curious to see the political reaction here if this does move anyone a certain way. There are obviously some parties that are already adhering to these 5 points. And then in others, notably the Liberals, you see some division. You see that some individual MPs are requesting the same. Others are on the other side of this very complex conflict, and there is a real sense of division there, Heather.
Rafi, thank you very much. Rafi Boudjikanian with us live, but if you want to read more about what Rafi has been reporting, there is a piece up on our website and the CBC News app as well. Rafi Boudjikanian from Ottawa.